Hello guys, this is Jiten Estakar from Galpin of Cybersecurity Branch, studying in Sri Venkateswara College of Engineering. Today's subject is Introduction to Python Programming, and the topic is classes and methods. Classes. In Python, classes are used to create new types or blueprints for objects. They contain attributes such as variables and methods and functions that define the behavior and properties of those objects. You can create instances of a class which are individual objects based on that blueprint and modify their attributes or call their methods. Classes help organize code and promote reusability. Python class members. Python, similarly to other object-oriented languages, allows the user to write short and beautiful code by enabling the developer to define classes to create objects. The developer can define the prototype of an object class based on two types of members: instance members and class members. In the real world, these may look familiar in many ways, but in reality, these are a lot different in terms of their use cases. To understand class members, let us recall how the instance members work. Instance variables. Instance variables in Python are such that when defined in the parent class of the object are instantiated and separately maintained for each and every object instance of the class. These are usually called using self keyword. The self keyword is used to represent an instance of the class. Note, Note, the instance variables can only be called once the class is instantiated into an object. Now moving to class variables, class members may be defined in the scope of the class. These may usually be used with the CLS keyword. The CLS keyword is similar to the self keyword, but unlike the self keyword, it represents the class itself. Class variables can be declared in the class outside the methods without using any keyword. Note, the class members are available both in an instantiated object of a class as well as for an uninstantiated class. Coming to Python inheritance. Inheritance is the capability of one class to derive or inherit the properties from another class. The class that derives properties is called the derived class or child class, and the class from which the properties are being derived or inherited is called the base class or parent class. The benefits of inheritance are as follows. It represents real-world relationships well. It provides the reusability of a code. We don't have to write the same code over and over again. It allows us to add more features to a class without modifying it. It is transitive in nature, which means that if class B inherits from another class A, then all the subclasses of B will automatically inherit from class A. Coming to Python polymorphism. Polymorphism simply means having many forms. For example, we need to determine if the given species of birds fly or not. Using polymorphism, we can do this using a single function. Polymorphism in Python. This code demonstrates the concept of inheritance and method overriding in Python classes. It shows how subclasses can override methods defined in the parent class to provide specific behavior while still inheriting other methods from the parent class. Encapsulation in Python. As the name itself says, that the encapsulation is one of the fundamental concepts in object-oriented programming OOP. It describes the idea of wrapping of data and methods that work on data within one unit. This puts restrictions on accessing variables and methods directly and can prevent the accidental modifications of data. To prevent accidental change, an object's variable can only be changed by an object's method. Those type of variables are known as private variables. A class is an example of encapsulation as it encapsulates or wraps up the data, all the data, that is member functions, variables, etc. Data abstraction. Data abstraction simply means the hiding of unnecessary code details from the user. Also, when we do not want to give out sensitive parts of our code implementation, and this is where data abstraction comes into play. Data abstraction in Python can be achieved by creating abstract classes. Printing objects in Python. An object is an instance of a class. A class is like a blueprint, while an instance is a copy of the class with actual values. When an object of a class is created, the class is said to be instantiated. All the instances share the attributes and behavior of the class, but the values of those attributes The state are unique for each object. A single class may have any number of instances. Thank you guys.